What should we talk about?
I don't know how I'm doing this blind stinking so well. I mean, how I'm doing this not high as shit.
It's probably good.
Yeah. But I'm gonna be getting drunk. So.
And that's how we start the podcast.
Damn right.
You ready?
Sure, why not?
All right then. We've been recording for 2 minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to the Storymoders podcast. My name is Robert. His name is Mike, and it's just the two of us today. Hi, Mike.
I'm sorry, Ira's right there.
You're right. Ira is right there, but Ira does not have a camera or headphones and microphone. So
I lowered the camera so we could see him.
It's fair. Hi, Ira.
He's
Hi, Ira.
Robert's waving high.
That's a puppy.
He's sad.
That's a great puppy. He's sad.
Post Malone.
Mom is not home because Mom is at a Post Malone concert.
Yeah, and he's just got to deal with Dad, who won't give him any more salami.
Well, Mike.
Hi. Attaboy.
The crack of the beer means we are well underway. Oh, I almost started to pour that in and then saw a little Oliver hair on the can.
Buddy.
That would have just gone right in the cup. I'll be honest, there's probably Oliver hair in this cup anyway because it's straight out of the dishwasher. So, obviously, there's going to be Oliver hair.
Yeah.
But Mikey, how are you doing today, buddy?
We're doing all right.
Who's dying this week?
God willing, nobody.
Ooh, okay.
But the
week's early.
Only Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're still
we're
still in the road half of the the week here. So
Yeah.
We'll see. We will see. Hopefully nobody else dies. But yeah, no, I'm doing good. I've been revamping some stuff for my triumphant return to streaming.
Nerding for beginners on Twitch.
Yep, I got Stream Deck set up on my iPad. I am looking at my big, beautiful soundboard here. 24 sounds to annoy the fuck out of you, but bring me immense pleasure.
I mean, will they annoy the fuck out of you too?
Oh, hell no. I got control over them.
Just straight up. Okay, not the blurps, just a straight up soundboard.
Straight up. Yeah,
okay.
Oh no. Blurp, Blurp is, I mean, Blurp's gonna be Blurp. So,
look, I'm going to say this with all love, and he doesn't watch the podcast anyway, so he'll never hear this. If you need lessons on how to use that soundboard to annoy the fuck out of people watching, watch OM Jesus. Okay? He's a pro at that. All right?
I have got this thing set up for maximum annoyance.
Perfect.
And I've got room for way fucking more, because I just need... I'm gonna unplug, and I'm gonna... You won't be able to see this really well, but... So there we go. Sounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all with their own custom keys. But then, I need you to look at this. I have so much more room to piss you, the loyal viewer, off.
We'll get some stuff there. Actually, no, I have one. I have one that you need to get that I'm almost guaranteeing you don't have.
Is it Hank Hill saying, I'm about to bust?
No.
Because I've got that. It's not on the board, but I've got that.
It was one of the special thanks that I put in to the kind of funny video that we made for Madeline Stanley.
Oh.
At the end of it, in the credits or whatever, I just put done by this and this and this. And then in the special thanks, it was God and or Satan. And then that noise that Gary Neville made in the 2012 Champions League semifinals when Fernando Torres scored.
I can find that. And I can get that on here.
Yes, that's a. You know what? Let me. I've got YouTube pulled up here. Gary Neville.
Sound.
I'm trying to see the Gary Neville reaction. If I do. Yeah, number 2, Fernando Torres. So let's skip over here really quick. We've actually had this on the podcast before because when we were talking about it.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we.
This could be the most dramatic story of the season. It's Torres to give Chelsea a place in the Champions League final. The headline
a cigarette.
Unbelievable!
Yeah, that is special thanks to Gary Nibbles and that goddamn sound. But yeah, put that on there, and I will play that, or I will make you play that every fucking 6 seconds.
Oh yeah, no, don't worry.
You know.
We will. I've got some other things in there that some stuff cooking.
Yeah.
Specifically, man. Oh yeah, there's some old sports calls that definitely need to go on there.
What's the
God.
The mic was on, and I said something that I shouldn't have said, and Castellanos with a home run, and that's going to make it a 4-1 ball game, and I don't know if I'll ever talk to you folks again.
Yes, God. That one's going on there, and it's broadcaster for TNT. I can't remember his name right now.
Shaq.
But he had that call of, like, LeBron dunking over somebody, and it was, LeBron James with no regard for human life.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Get we'll workshop some more, but get I'm gonna add this as a blurb, but it'll be probably better as a for my thing, but it'll be good as a soundboard thing for you as well.
Oh yeah.
Keenan Thompson as LeVar Ball on SNL.
Oh God.
Just never lost.
Undefeated.
Never lost.
I just
I
want to
am
get
12 feet tall, 600 pounds.
No, I'm just going to do LeVar Ball debating Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
Just that whole segment from First Take. That's just a sound.
Yeah.
Just be like, excuse me, I gotta go, and just hit that. Oh man.
So, Mikey, what have you been? You're setting up stuff to kind of get back to streaming. What are you playing right now? Are you still knee deep in Cyberpunk? What's the plan?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, gotta get back into Cyberpunk because just want to start seeing that one through a little bit more. I'm hoping to stream a little bit more instead of just me one night, Annie one night. I'm hoping to get a couple nights in. Keep Annie with one of hers.
Yeah.
And but no. As far as what I've been playing, so with all this hype and hoopla and what have you around the Switch 2, I, being the one who never buys a new console on day one, with the exception of the one time, pre-ordered a Dreamcast, picked it up on launch day. Fucking love that thing. Wore the t-shirt for weeks straight. Well, everybody was just like, oh, Switch 2 pre-order. Oh, no, I can't use my Canadian credit card in America to pre-order a Switch 2. Shout out to Evil Uno, who had that problem. But I'm going to finish the story, then I'm going to tell you, paraphrase the hilarious thing I heard on All Elite Arcade.
Okay.
Yeah, I dug my Switch Lite out from, the bedroom/closet at my parents' place, charged it up, got a bigger SD card, and then bought Borderlands: The Pandora Collection.
Nice.
So I have all of the Borderlands.
Ooh, fun little thing that got announced, I think, this morning for tomorrow is a PlayStation State of Play all about Borderlands 4. Borderlands.
Borderlands.
Yep, all about Borderlands.
Nice.
And Aaron Blair said it won't pick up people calling it Borderlands, but I think it will. I think we're going to make it happen.
We're going to make it happen. All right, Aaron.
And Blay, you can help us with this, okay?
Yeah, you and your 2 Emmys and your connections. You can make this happen. Otherwise, it's just going to be me and Robert here, just screaming into the void.
So you got the collection.
And I got Disco Elysium.
Nice. Another a game that we've talked about with Blay last week a lot. Yeah. Hell yeah.
So getting into that, enjoying the shit out of it. So
nice.
Yeah, just generally making sure all of the games that were on there are transferred over to the new SD card and updated. So that's fun.
Yeah, I don't know if this was before we recorded last week or if it was after, but I pre-ordered the Switch on Target.com.
It was after.
Was it?
Yes.
So then we also have
seeing it. Yep.
The GameStop thing because I pre-ordered one there the next day as well. I can't remember. I was unemployed for 2 months and just not realizing what time was. And I just started my new job yesterday, and I had to wake up in the morning and be like, what's happening? Why am I awake right now? What the shit?
What is time? And then suddenly there's an alert from your bank, be like, hey, fucko. Remember you not working? Well.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Just
shit. Yeah, so I have 2 Switch 2s pre-ordered. Switch 4. I'm going to put them together. I'm going to glue them together. I'll have a Switch 4. That's how that works.
Plastic weld them together. I know a dude who does plastic welding. We can combine them.
There we go.
There it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Speaking of, well, actually, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off if you're
it's
still
just
storytelling. Yeah.
Listening to All Elite Arcade, shout out to the Chugs and Evil Uno. Mm-hmm. They were telling on the episode today, they were, as we record, not as we release, their endeavors to pre-order a Switch 2. So
I honestly feel bad because for me on Target.com, it was super easy. It took, they went on sale at I think 10 o'clock here in Utah. And I think my purchase went through at 10:20. And then I was waiting over and over again to see if they would cancel it because I also heard people on Target, they were getting them canceled and shit. Mm-hmm. No.
Nothing.
And then
you were just super, it was just straightforward, easy to go.
It was it took a bit longer, the page loaded a little slower. Yeah. But, once I got to the payment page and everything and that, I just clicked boom, 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 boom. It was done. Fuck Target, but still,
How convenient they had that boom, 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 boom button.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
boom, boom, boom.
Yep, I know that.
So, yeah, they're telling their stories about trying to get the Switch 2.
Yeah. Yeah, so Uno, being a Canadian luchador, most of his stuff is his cards and everything, their addresses in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
But he's here in America. They were filming something, and he's trying to pre-order one, but they keep rejecting it because they're like, no, you can't do. So he had to get everything set up through Amazon.ca, and then he finally got one.
Amazon.ca. What's the website for that?
Exactly. So then with Chugs, Adam Cole, hey, look at that. He and a couple buddies, they all had he's gonna freak out and try and get one.
Yeah.
His friends, not so much, but they're just you know what? We're in. So that all of them were on their phones on Best Buy and Target and Amazon and Walmart and everything, just trying to get into the line. And one of them was like, I got in. And he handed Chugs his phone, and Chugs pre-ordered it, and then immediately got something from his credit card company saying, yeah, we think somebody stole your credit card.
What's funny about me pre-ordering it? And so I'm not rich by any means. Okay. I'm just throwing that out there. This isn't a normal thing for me, which is why it happened. So
the Xbox mini fridge begs to differ.
Yeah, the shitty mini fridge that was $90. Yeah.
Shitty mini fridge that's really not even a fridge.
No. But anyway. So the day that it went up for pre-order, earlier in the day, I spent a little chunk of money, about $300, on some software. Okay. And my bank sent me a text being like, hey, is this you? Did you mean to do this? And I was like, yes, that was me. And then later on at night when I pre-order the Switch 2 and it's more than $300, it's way more, bank is just like, yeah, it's probably, okay. It's a video game thing. Oh. Yeah, fucking nerd.
Oh, I ordered, so I finally got a new lens for my camera. Mm-hmm. But I need to get a little circular polarizing filter. So, I can cut through glare and make the sky look cool, Madeline knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Madeline, comment down below if you're watching. And if you're not,
please just say hi. I ordered that and the bigger micro SD card for the Switch, but when I was paying for it, I did it through Apple Pay, and it was trying to send it to an address that I haven't lived at in 7 years.
Yeah.
So I immediately go on and I'm like, I got to change my address, to different thing. And I just did through the automated customer service portal. And they're just like, yeah, no problem. The customer service rep's going to reach out to you with, if there's anything different, if there are any other charges or whatever. And there was a little difference because, between Salt Lake County and Utah County. So I ended up having to pay a little bit more in taxes to get my stuff. So I had to call. So I called. Rep was great. And she was like, well, do you just want to use the card that you used to buy this stuff with? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay, well, they're like, your bank's not letting it go through. And I'm like, all right, we'll use a different card. You know what they weren't letting go through? 12 cents. After I got off the phone, I got a text, a phone call, and an email.
Was the phone call... Please tell me the phone call was an actual person and not automated.
An actual person.
And they were like, hey, are you trying to spend this 12 cents?
Hey, are you trying to, spend 12 cents at B&H Photo Video in New York? And I'm like, yeah, I am.
It's fucking 12 cents. I get it. You're on your game. But
I'm like,
come on.
Thank you for being there.
Yeah.
Real curious what is triggering some of these things and not other things. Yeah. But, who cares? They're just like, oh, well, I'm like, don't, I ran the 12 cents on another card.
I gave them change. I gave them a quarter and I got 13 cents back.
If I could have, I would have just handed them a dime and 2 pennies. But alas, here I am, standing in the parking lot like a jackass.
Here I am, looking at a boy, I don't know the phrase. But you mentioned that it was trying to go to an address that you had lived in for a long time. I ordered something the other day from a place, whatever, that last time I ordered was like 4 or 5 years ago when I lived in this house.
Yeah.
And I got a call from my mom saying, hey, it was delivered here. Because we used to live, with my parents. I used to obviously live with my parents when I was younger, and they've lived there for 25, 30 years now. And I'm like, how did they even get that address? And it shows up. But
dude,
you want to see what I got?
Oh, what'd you get?
So I got I have an iPhone. It's got the MagSafe and everything. And to not carry a big old wallet, I got a pop socket wallet that goes to the back of the phone, holds 3 cards, and that's it. And then it's got the pop socket, to hold it and everything. So I had one. It was just black, and then I bought I'll be honest, I took a design off of a Google search that was this was when I bought my last one a few years ago. Yeah. It was like a Roy Kent thing from Ted Lasso. Mm-hmm. And I had a quote around it in a circle, and now that quote is completely gone, and I forget what it was. But that started to come apart from the seam from the wallet part to the back. The magnet part was coming apart, so it was floppy. And I was like, cool, I got to order a new one anyway. Let's make one up. Let's see if it's going to look any good. And it showed up today. And now this is a one of one. I'm the only fucking person that has this, and I'm the only person that will ever have this. There's a Storymoders. Yeah. It's got the blue, and it's a little blurry. I just picked the blue one because I figured that one popped the most online.
Yeah.
And then instead of just doing a black background, I was like, let me take the all-over design that we have with the fade out. Let's see how that looks. And that looks fucking great.
Looks awesome.
Am I, good. Does that look good?
Looks great.
It's, blurry as fuck. Hey, why do you quit being blurry?
Keep trying to focus on shit in the background. Whatever.
But, Storymoders pop socket wallet.
Look at that.
It's fucking cool as shit. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I got. I'm the only one with this bad boy. The old Cam Auto Mag. 2nd generation iPhone SE case. I have so much stuff from that thing I did for the better part of 2 decades that nobody else has. And so many people demanded merch. And then as soon as I'm like, it's available, they're like, yeah,
never mind.
How about you hook me up with a hat?
Yeah.
How about you hook me up with a big turbo for my car?
How about you hook me up with a fucking check or something? Let's do this.
Yeah. Let me take the race car out for a few laps. Does that sound insane? Yeah. Sounds insane when you want me to give you free shit when I got nothing. Fuck you.
Oh man, I missed you. I missed you this last week.
I miss you too, buddy.
But I was getting ready to start my job and everything, and that was good. And I've been playing
Yeah, what have you been playing?
nothing but Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It's April 29th, so this is going up on May 1st. This is my game of the year. Like,
That is... I'm hearing that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that a lot. Everybody loves it. You know what? I'm going to turn this thing on and get that a download because it's on Game Pass, so...
It is. It's on Game Pass. It is a beautiful game. It is the gameplay is great. It's turn-based battles, but it's more it's more reaction-y, like reaction-based, I guess, if you want to say that, instead of just do this and then wait. No, it's you're doing this and then you can make the moves go better if you hit stuff at the right time, and then you can parry on their turn or dodge and everything. Like, the gameplay itself is really engaging. It's great. The story, I don't want to talk too much about it, but I haven't fucking cried that early playing a video game ever. And I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? Like,
you have not seen me struggle with some games then. I will bring you to tears. Really make you question our friendship.
So this, I don't know exactly when this will be, because I have to wait for him to finish it as well. I believe that I'm at the final boss of the game. But I'm just like doing a bit of grinding and doing a bit of side stuff before I go and do that and finish it.
As one does.
Yeah. But when I'm completely done with it, and our good friend Virum Dex is done with it as well, he's going to join us, and we're going to do a full-on spoiler cast of this game. Mike, if you
on this, then.
if you want to play it, that's the thing. Like, if you decide to play it also, and you want to play it, then we'll wait for all three of us to be done, and we'll go. Because I've been taking notes on stuff in like fucking writing notes in a journal on this game.
I'm so glad somebody's gonna have notes, because I'm just gonna blow through this thing and be like, man, that was fucking great. I don't remember shit about it, but it was great. But
so that, look forward to that when Virum Dex is done with it, because I know he's playing it on stream, so he's not like mainlining it as much as I am. So it might take him just a little bit longer. But once he is done with it, and if Mike is playing it, then once Mike is done with it, we're going to do a full-on Clair Obscur Expedition 33 spoiler cast, because it's my game of the year. And full disclosure, I did get a review code from Sandfall from the publishers, but even if I waited an extra 2 days and played it on Game Pass, it wouldn't change my opinion. This game it's gorgeous. The story is fucking incredible. I love it. There's a lot of twists and turns. I won't say exactly what it is. There's a lot of twists and turns that we will talk about on the spoiler cast, but
all right.
Yeah. And then once I'm done with it, there will be a review on our channel that's probably just mostly this, and then a little bit more information on what I really liked about it. So keep an eye out for that.
Oh, hell yeah. And before we get into, I feel like we should probably get into the topic at some point.
We should.
Just keep going down. But real quick, Baldur's Gate 3 crossplay patch out there. Yes.
Okay. So now we could actually do a multiplayer thing together.
Damn right.
Yeah. Because you can, you can do it on Steam. Because we both can't play it on Steam because you were the one who bought it. But I could play it on Xbox, and we could do a bit of so yeah. Let's we'll talk about that afterwards, and we'll maybe get something up, maybe get a couple streams up or something. But
I'm just saying this right now. Dibs on a low intelligence, high strength character.
Totally fine.
All right.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
All right. And if anybody's going to be a bard in this party, they can't be playing a musical instrument. They need to do something else.
I'm a bard. What's your instrument? I do stand-up. You know?
It's really a
mostly
performance
topical
artist.
Humor.
A
bit of,
just pointing out the absurdities in everyday life.
Exactly. Like a Mitch Hedberg type, or like a George Carlin. That's my brand of bard comedy. So
you're a bard. What kind of bard are you?
Look, here's the thing. What's the deal with airline peanuts?
Kind of bard.
What's the deal? Yeah, I'm a Seinfeld.
Just
before we get into our
drunk.
before we get into our topic,
drunk and it's just like, I'm Jackson Pollock. That's my bard.
Before we get into our topic today, we are going to run that little video for our good friend Vitz Patel for Pixel Pop Stars, because it is coming back this Saturday.
Hell yeah.
Over at
Saturday,
twitch.tv/Vitz Patel. So we're going to run that right now.
What's good, everyone? I'm Vitz Patel. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, let's go.
It's time for Pixel Pop Stars, the video game and pop culture game show. Life is performance beyond. Enter your state of flow.
Catch Season 2 of Pixel Pop Stars on Twitch and YouTube at Vitz Patel.
And we are back. So yeah, this Saturday is episode 1 of season 2. The people on this episode, I have actually, we've got a friend or 2 or 3 or maybe 4. I'm not sure this one person. At Orange Purple streamer. At McKenna, she's a kind of funny best friend. She's in the Madeline Stanley video that we did. At Alec Bobko from Shared Screens. He's great. I was on a Shared Screens podcast early last year. And then our friend Neo Aoshi. So those are the 4 contestants for this Saturday. Once again, twitch.tv/Vitz Patel is in the video there. We'll put a little thing in the description down below. So yeah, check that out. In a few weeks, myself and Verum Dex are going to be contestants, and I'm going to kick his ass. I'm going to throw him into a volcano.
I thought you were about to say me and Mike are going to be guests, and I'd be like, what the fuck?
What's happening? So, Pixel Pop Stars, watch that. And watch last season's too, and see, because it's a really fun concept. Vitz has put a shitload of work into it. I'm saying Vitz as if that's their first name. I'm not entirely sure if that is. I don't think it is. But putting a shitload of work into it has made it a really, really fun time. Making a few changes this year or this season, so it's going to be a bit different. So I'm very much looking forward to watching on Saturday and then competing here on, I believe, May 24th. But Mike,
yo,
what are we talking about today?
For a while. We are talking about a game trilogy that is near and dear. Okay, there's 4 of them, but man, everybody hates it. I don't know how many goddamn games there are in this, but when Robert was telling me about it, I'm just like, this sounds a lot like Star Trek, something else I am only casually familiar with.
Yeah!
We're talking about Mass Effect.
Mass Effect! One of my favorite video game series of all time.
Hell yeah.
Well, let's do this. We're going to switch over here. We're just going to play the little, put this bitch on a loop. This is just the trailer, the reveal trailer for the Mass Effect Original Trilogy Legendary Edition reveal. This was the trailer they did for it. So, Mike, you've never played Mass Effect.
Hell no.
Why?
I was busy playing other stuff.
Name one game better than Mass Effect.
I don't know. I've never played Mass Effect, so I can't really make that comparison. This feels disingenuous.
Mike.
I don't appreciate you putting me in that kind of...
You see this?
Situation.
See this right here?
Uh-huh.
It's an N7 helmet. That is Commander Shepard's helmet.
Yeah, I know.
I think, you know what, Mike? I think what we need to do now is we're going to have to break down Mass Effect and what it is, and how perfect it is, and how incredible it is, and how perfect it is, and how incredible it is. Okay, so Mass Effect...
I was about to ask if you were going to hit me again.
I might. I'm just saying, I might.
The next time we get together for a stream, first thing, you just open hand slap me across the face.
I'm going to get another one of those, the turkey sheets and hit you in the head with it, okay? But, yeah, this is the trailer for the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect, the trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. This is the story of Commander Shepard in the Milky Way galaxy. Okay? It is...
You were born to do this.
it's just an incredible game series, and they came out as saying, hey, here's the first game, this is the first in a trilogy. And what they did was that every choice that you made in Mass Effect 1, all these big choices, including your character and all the stuff you've done there, then goes forward into Mass Effect 2, and the choices you make there go forward into Mass Effect 3. So in Mass Effect 3, there's stuff that you did in the first game years ago at this point when you're playing 3 that you forgot about, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, when I did that, this happened now in 3. Which, unless I'm mistaken, is like one of the first and maybe only times that has really been the case. You know, you've got sequel to games all the time. You got sequels, but
Yeah.
most of the time there's like that canon story, and then when you go to the sequel, it's like, yeah, it happened this way, no matter what you did.
Yeah.
It's like, this was the choice that you're supposed to make.
Yeah. Just like, I'm really glad you did that, but
Yeah.
this is what we chose in the writer's room, so
Exactly.
fucking make peace with it.
Exactly. So Mass Effect, and correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments if I don't know what had come out before and I'm just missing it, but Mass Effect was really that first, this kind of first game trilogy where they came out from the jump saying your choices matter in the game, and not just in this game, but in future games. So you do Mass Effect 1 and then choices go here. And that included, like I said, your character. So the character that you created in Mass Effect 1, you can bring that character into Mass Effect 2. So not just the stats and everything, but you can create your own Shepard, male, female, the way that they look, their the gender, their race, they're always going to be human. The hairstyle and everything. And then when you go to Mass Effect 2, you just say, yeah, I'm going to take this Shepard over here, and it's the same Shepard. And then when you get to 3, I'm going to take the same Shepard over here and do this. So it really gave you that sense of, this is my Shepard. This is my game. This is my story. Even though this is a multi-million copy selling video game series that tons of people all around the world are loving. Like, I have my Shepard. Mike, whenever he plays this game, is going to have his own Shepard. Whether or not he uses the generic one that they come out with or makes his own. Mike has his own Shepard. They're not all going to look the same.
No.
And
this is my Shepard. There are many like it, but this
exactly.
one is mine. Without my Shepard, I am nothing. Without me, my Shepard is nothing.
So Mass Effect, for me, as someone I honestly can't tell you why I even played the first one. Because at the time when I was gaming and I was playing video games and everything, like, I wasn't a sci-fi. I like Star Trek or Star Wars. I wasn't a Star Trek guy.
Yeah.
Didn't like it. I wasn't a fan of like sci-fi stuff. But for some reason, seeing the trailers for Mass Effect, and at the time it was an Xbox 360 exclusive. The first one was, and I had a 360, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. And I think I just I think I rented it from Hollywood Video.
Yeah.
And then returned it and immediately rented it again. Returned it, rented, and just kept renting it until I had it beat. Instead of just buying it.
I think that last time the guy's like, you could have bought it and then some by now.
Be like, that's not the point. This is my copy, but it's not, but it's mine.
Shut the fuck up, Greg.
But I played the first one. Loved it, obviously, and I think I played it once or twice, actually. And then remembered, it's when the next one comes out, like, you're gonna have your save history and everything. So then it was a couple years, and Mass Effect 2 came out, and that blew my fucking mind. When it wasn't just, hey, we're gonna do this, and you're gonna have your Shepard, blah blah blah. It was like, no, you're gonna bring your Shepard from that game. It looks slightly different because it's just it's a newer game, but it's this one just in a different, it like from not SD, but like SD to HD. Here's your Shepard.
Yeah,
and
it's
here's
just like
this.
you got like a better version of HD.
Exactly. And then at the time, that's when I think Mass Effect 2 was the first one that then came out on the PlayStation as well. Because, like I said, the first one was a 360 exclusive. So then when it came out on PlayStation, obviously you couldn't bring in your Shepard from the first game because there's no first game on the PlayStation. So they implemented this kind of almost like a comic book type thing where you create your Shepard and then you're just going through your Shepard was this type of character. What was it? Boom, boom, boom. A soldier or like a street kid or something. Kind of your past. And then when you dealt with this character, what did you do? Cool. When you did this, what did you do? Cool. And then when you started 2, it was taking account of all of these choices that you made. So even though you didn't play the game, you still affected that story in 2, and then going forward into 3. So they could have easily just been like, you didn't play the first one, cool, we're just going to pick shit for you. Make your Shepard, but then these are the choices that we decided for you. No, it's still gave PlayStation players that choice. But yeah, it's a massive sci-fi, as it says, groundbreaking sci-fi epic trilogy, this original one. They came back with a 4th game called Mass Effect Andromeda that a lot of people hated. I didn't hate. I love that game. I started playing it again a few weeks ago, actually, about a month or 2 ago at this point. What came out? Something. I think Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
So in between, I played something, and then I had like maybe a week or so until Assassin's Creed Shadows came out. So I started a new playthrough of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Ah, okay.
But no, Mass Effect is just an incredible series, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to teach Mike a bit about Mass Effect. I'm going to answer any questions that he might have. He might not have any. I hope he does, though. But maybe he doesn't.
Who knows? We'll see. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah. So, Mike, I'm going to cut it to you. Do you have any questions so far about Mass Effect? Anything that you've got in mind?
Yeah, no, not really right now. I mean, I'm gonna let you get rolling, and then if something pops up,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just hit you with one of these.
Yeah.
And
You're going to acknowledge your
So-
tribal chief, Roman Reigns? Yeah. Fuck Roman Reigns. Apparently, dude's a Trump fan. Should have realized
God
it.
damn it!
Yeah, right?
Okay. To be fair, I feel like a good chunk of people stepping into the squared circle might be.
They are. Yeah. You know who isn't, though? CM Punk, Seth Rollins. So.
Yep. Good old Charles Montgomery Punk.
Yep. And Seth. Rican Rollins.
Goddamn right.
All right. So where do we begin in Mass Effect? One of the things we were talking before we started recording. I pulled up something, and Mike was like,
Yeah, I was
"The
about to
fuck is
say,
this?"
according to that goddamn wiki.
Yeah. So I pulled up a wiki, and it's one of the things that I love about Mass Effect. It's one of the things that I love about Fallout as well, is that it's not just here's the game that we made in this thing. It is
Here's the
universe
universe
that we made, and here is everything that we built for it. So I pulled up the Mass Effect wiki, and it has a timeline that literally starts with prehistoric times, unknown BCE, talking about the first known thing that they talk about in the Mass Effect games, which is the Leviathans, which you don't even hear about or learn about until it's either like close to the end of 2 or the beginning of 3.
Jesus.
The Leviathans are the very, very, very first known sentient beings in the universe, and they kind of built everything around everything that is happening in the Mass Effect universe as we play it comes from the Leviathans.
Huh. Okay.
And
So
it's go ahead.
So these massive creatures existing sometime shortly after the creation of the known universe
Yeah.
just started assembling all of the pieces.
Yeah. Leviathans
Right.
dominate, and I'm just reading from the wiki here because Mike can't see it because it's kind of zoomed in, so it's very small form. Dominate the Milky Way, enthralling every new sapient race they encounter, and protecting them in return for tribute. So they're the mob. And they consider themselves the galaxy's first and only apex race. And they notice, or they observe, that all of all of these races that start coming up in the world, you're coming up in the galaxy, all of these creatures and these beings, at some point get to this advanced point where they start making synthetic life, AI. And then every single time this synthetic AI life rebels against the creators and destroys them. And they've seen this happen over and over and over again. So the Leviathans created the intelligence as a way to permanently preserve organic life. And essentially the way that they decide to preserve organic life is that every 50,000 years, it looks at all of the races in the galaxy and it sees where they're at. And if they are advanced enough to get to the point where they're going to have synthetic life, they wipe them out completely and they clear out the universe. Because they're like, oh, it's going to happen again. Let's wipe it out. Let's start over.
Okay.
So the first time, they go through this, they create this the Harbinger and these other beings called the Reapers to actually do the reaping and destroying everything. And it's just this cyclical thing. And as you see, it's unknown BCE to a billion years before the current era. So this is just going on every 50 some odd thousand years. Every time beings get to a certain point, if the Leviathans and the Reapers are looking, they're like, no, cool. You're on this track. You're about to get fucked over. Let's wipe you out and let's try again. Let's try again.
I just love that they had the wherewithal to be like, well, if we're going to create garbage, we need garbage men.
Exactly. That's it. So
I feel like somebody's going to be losing their mind with some of the shit I'm going to be saying and describing these things.
Probably going to be me.
Well, I'm okay with giving you a fucking aneurysm.
So what they also did is the intelligence, this being that the Leviathans made, created the mass relay network, which that's the whole impetus of the Mass Effect storyline for the humans. Is that I don't know the exact year, but at some point, in the future, humans go to Mars and then they discover the mass relay in the Milky Way universe. They don't know what it is because it's just out in space, and they go through it, and it's essentially, it creates a wormhole, and it lets them travel, faster than light speed through wormholes to get around the galaxy. So the Leviathans, in their way, created this whole Mass Effect relay so that every time beings get to a certain point, they will discover these mass relays and become more and more advanced, but then kind of hoping that they're not going to be the ones who make this synthetic life, but then everybody does. So the last kind of big one before humans and before the Reapers and everybody comes back are the Protheans. Just a race from 68,000 BCE, as we see. These are pre-council times. The council is a current, modern day. And when I say modern day, I mean modern day is like the beginning of Mass Effect 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I say modern day, that's what I mean. I don't mean 2025 or 2027 whenever you're listening to this. So 68,000 BCE, the Protheans achieve spaceflight, discover the mass relays from the extinct, and every time these beings find the mass relays, they think, oh, this is probably the last race created these, and they've only been here for this long, not knowing that they've been here for billions of years. Or
They're dropping these just like new lanes on a freeway. Just like, yeah.
So one of the Mass Effect relay, everything, there's these relays all around the universe, and then there's a main one called the Citadel. And the Citadel, every single cycle, the Citadel becomes kind of the hub for all of the races in the universe. Once they start finding the mass relays, they find their way to the Citadel, which is essentially set up for life to live on this mass relay. But they don't know it's a mass relay. That's spoilers. Sorry. So the Citadel becomes kind of the focal point and the head of the universe. All the races kind of go there eventually and broker some sort of peace and deals. And that's their advanced way of living, is that, oh, now we're in this council on the Citadel So we're going to work with these other with the other beings and all this stuff. So it's, eventually it becomes the hub for every kind of cycle. So the Protheans find the Citadel. They're there. They've got everything, good to go. They create these synthetic beings. I forget who they created. I don't even know if they do. They do something, but I forget the name, and I'm sorry. It's been a while. Once again, this is 48,000 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
It's 50,000 years ago now because it's 2000. So the Protheans fall. The cycle starts over again. And now, at that time, 48,000 BCE, there's life on Earth. But it is so primitive.
Oh, yeah.
That Leviathans and the Reapers are just like, yeah, okay, maybe next time, kids. Have fun. Do whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. And then in that time, that's when the humans and Earth get space flight. They get to Mars. They find the mass relays. Everything. They get to the Council. So by the time that Mass Effect 1 starts, humans are fully in space flight. We're going to go through quite a bit here. So this is all of this stuff here that we're scrolling through.
Yeah.
580 BCE, 520 BCE, Solarians. Solarians are a race that you encounter in there. 1600 BCE. Okay. Mike is talking to...
I'm administering corrective action to the dog.
Ira? Could be a dick.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just a small little guy full of anxiety here. Keep talking.
Yeah. So
Don't be a problem.
the going through this whole timeline of everything, the Prothean Empire collapses with the arrival of the Reapers through the Citadel. Okay. They'd learned about it, but they hadn't been able to prepare, and then they were wiped out. 1300 BCE, the Turians, which is another race that you encounter in Mass Effect, begin to develop civilization. 6000 BCE, stuff happens. 1900, Tuchanka, the Krogan homeworld, enters the nuclear age, and they get fucked. They devastation in the entire world, and then they start going out, and the Krogans are just bloodthirsty. 1600, the Andromeda Galaxy, the Angara are created from the Jardan, completely separate. The Andromeda Galaxy is completely separate from what's happening with the Leviathans and the Reapers, but this just happens then. The Asari, in 580 BCE, 580 BCE, begin using mass relay network. They discover the Citadel and kind of start creating that as a hub. 520, the Solarians discover the Citadel, and they start diplomatic relations with the Asari, because the Asari are there first, and they're like, hey, let's be peaceful. So 500 BCE is when the Council is formed initially, and then other races, as they find the Citadel, kind of try to broker for peace and try to become part of the universe's population. Okay.
Okay.
Including, the Volus, the Turians get there, the Batarians, the Elcor, the Hanar, the Quarians. Like, there's a ton of races, and they all end up here at the Citadel. It is the hub of this entire relay, this mass relay, forward. Council era, War and Rebellion. Obviously, not everybody gets along immediately, so there's wars, there's battles, there's fights. All of this stuff. Exactly, it's crazy. There's a race called the Rachni, which are like giant bug creatures that start wiping out places, and that's one of the big wars, is the Rachni Wars, to completely wipe them out.
Yeah.
And then after that, the Krogan begin to expand, and then they're wiped out, but they're not just wiped out. The Krogan are let's see, is there when did this happen? Okay, so it's a bit later. But the Krogans, here, 710 BCE. So the Krogans they help, and they help win the Rachni Wars for everybody, because they're just fucking beasts. When we see Krogans, you'll see why. End up helping win the Rachni Wars and helping the galaxy, but then they decide to expand, and they're expanding and they're killing, because that's what they do. It's just what their race is and everything. So it says here 710 BCE says it the way better than I could. Realizing that the Krogan will never give in as long as they can replenish their fighters, so they will never give up and they will just keep trying to kill and trying to take over.
No.
The Turians unleash a Solarian, which is another race, the Solarians. Solarian-engineered bioweapon known as the Genophage on the Krogan. And what the Genophage does is essentially makes 99 out of 100 births in the Krogan population stillborn. Just decimating. Yeah. So they can't, they're not having children, they're not, or they're very rarely having children, and their population just plummets. And over the years, by the time Mass Effect comes around, they're essentially kind of just like on a world, because that's all of them. And for this entire time, they're trying to get rid of this thing called the Genophage, which is the thing that's decimating their numbers. But yeah, Council Era expansion. Let's see here. The Geth War. The Geth are machines. They're the AI that was created by the Quarians. And what do synthetic lives do, Michael? What have we learned?
They wreck shit.
And they rebel. And guess what the Geth did?
They rebelled and wrecked shit.
They became self-aware and they rebelled because they didn't want to be, being controlled.
Nobody wants to be a literal cog in a machine.
Exactly.
And so
everything is happening, and then we get to the point around here, So, this is 1895 CE, so obviously, humans aren't going to space yet. They're seeing space, and they're seeing things, and they're learning, but they're not in space yet.
Shit.
Yeah, 1921, Geth began construction of a megastructure designed to house and simultaneously run every Geth program, and it is, it's a fleet, and that's where Geths, or no, Quarians live on fleets. Yeah, the Geth, whatever. 1961.
Yuri Gagarin.
First human to travel in space. So the first human to travel in space is 1961 in our timeline. How much have we just gone through? Of how much fucking lore there is.
A comical amount of time.
And this is what I mean about
like
this game and Fallout. Like I love lore in video games. Yeah. I love just the creation of this insane amount of lore, stuff that people aren't even gonna fucking see unless you're reading every single, you're listening to every audio thing, you're reading every journal, you're reading all this thing, you're seeing this. There's so much here that the creators have made and written out in all these different medias, whether it's in the games or the books or all this stuff, that for me, as a lore nerd, I love. And that's what the Mass Effect series is it's not just humans found this in 2027 BC or whatever, 2271 or whatever, and that's where our story begins. No, the story begins a billion years ago.
There's a lot of shit out there.
And here are the receipts. Like, we've been telling this story for this long.
Give me 1 second. I want to go grab another beverage.
You know what? Me too. So,
all right,
we'll be right back. Part 2.
Woo.
So, the humans have now sent somebody to space for the first time in 1961, and now we're kind of in, we're in Earth time. Okay. So, I wanted to point out. Yeah, I wanted to point out really quick the Geth War. Like I said, the Geth revolted, and they pushed the Quarians out of their worlds, and the Quarians ended up in this. They became nomads in space, in the migrant fleet, and they send, reconnaissance. Reconnaissance out into the galaxy to try to create more stuff for themselves and maybe try to find a place, but they can't really live anywhere else. So anytime you see a Quarian, they're fully covered in suits and faces because they can't take the atmosphere anywhere else in the universe. So that's just the thing. But then
I thought you were going to say they're like God, and man cannot look upon the face of them.
Yeah. So the Geth go behind what's called the Perseus Veil. So they're essentially out of known space and the known universe. So you don't see Geth, and if you see Geth anywhere, it's because they've come into the known universe and they're fucking shit up, and it's a problem. So the Geth are almost seen as, at this point of, when we start playing the game, the Geth are almost seen as like a boogeyman. You know, like, oh, they're not real, they're not real. But because of them creating the Geth, the Citadel, as you see, closes the Quarian embassy on the Citadel. The Council closes it on the Citadel. So the Quarians don't have this what is the word I'm thinking of? Representation in the Council, in the universe, because they're like, you created the Geth, they fucked you over, they're gonna fuck everybody else over. Go fuck yourself. Deal with yourself. Okay. So yeah, 1961, first human goes to space. 1969, Apollo 11 lands on Luna, which is the moon.
The moon.
Mm-hmm. Neil Armstrong becomes the first human to walk on the moon, and the first human to walk on an astronomical object other than Earth, which is a dope sentence.
Hell yeah, it is.
And once again, while this is happening, like, there's still lore and there's still stuff happening out in the universe. It's not just the humans are here, let's focus on that. No. So in the 80s, Arya to Luke, what's your question? What are we saying? What are we doing?
Oh no, I just like how, like, all the lore, it's just like paragraphs for, everything that's happening that's not us, and for us it's just like
Hubble.
Yep. We launched the Hubble.
Yep.
Europeans shot a satellite to the sun.
Yep.
It's just like, oh, okay.
But like, I wanted to point this out here. So, Arya T'Loak and Asari assumes control of Omega after defeating the space station's previous warlord in single combat. She keeps the warlord alive, mockingly bestows the title Patriarch on the broken Krogan. He was a Krogan. And uses him as a reminder to her enemies of power. So this happens in the 80s in our timeline. Arya is still the leader of Omega by the time Mass Effect comes around, and that Patriarch is still there. That's how long some of these civilizations, that's how long some of these populations actually live, is hundreds of years, thousands of years. So for humans, it's essentially like, compared to all these other creatures, they're just boom. So by the time humans actually come around, so we've got, we're going through kind of everything. First ESA deep space mission, Hubble telescope, Ulysses, Sojourner touches down on Mars. So once again, these are all things that I love about any of these fucking games, is that it's not just we made a universe, it is we made a universe based on our universe, and we're tying everything in. Once again, it's like Fallout. It's like, as much as people deride it for having any sort of modern story, Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed obviously has lore going back for centuries. Mm-hmm. It's not 100% accurate, but whatever. But,
it's there. It's like, man, this feels like Battletech lore, because it all kind of starts with, what we know, and, it's like, space race, all this stuff. And then, since it was written kind of at the tail end of the Cold War, there's still a lot of references to the Soviet Union. And I'm like, well, okay. Give it time and it may come back. But then it's just like, oh, we discovered faster than light travel. Oh, we colonized a planet that we called Terra 2. And then it's just like, yep. Yeah. And then people spread across the galaxy.
Yeah.
And each of these things has their own goddamn lore that occasionally runs back over itself, and then it's just like, oh, by the way, there's this weird branching thing where the supreme commander of the military just decided humanity was too sick to save itself, so he took the standing military and just blasted off into deep space, and his ancestors come back and they're pissed, but they're idiots and they see war as a game. Meanwhile, crotchety old man who works for Space AT&T is like, I ain't fucking around. But this is a story for another podcast.
Mike, I feel terrible right now. Because we talked about it before we started recording, but we didn't talk about it on the podcast. Your new haircut, you look beautiful. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
you look
it.
great. I love you, and you look great. And
I was really hoping this was just gonna. Can I be honest with you?
yeah.
I had this idea in my head, and I hope we can pull it off, and I hope nobody remembers this. But I want to be here with just, like, shaggy haircut, beard, and then just do what I did the other episode, just leave and come back with, like, something slightly different.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, this would require some editing, because I would love to come back with just, like, oh, haircut, clean shaven. Oh, I gotta take a leak. I'll be right back. Go out, come back. Got the facial hair like General Ambrose Burnside. You know, I leave, I come back, clean shaven, shaggy hair. Just no continuity whatsoever.
What year is it? 2025? Let's
Yeah.
work on something for next year, maybe. That's fun. That's fun.
I was about to say, brother, we don't gotta wait till next year. Give it like 2 months,
Yeah.
and I'll be ready.
God damn it. Okay. Mass Effect.
Anyway,
best
back
sci-fi
to,
series of all time in any medium.
back to our little section here on the wiki. Humanity, farting around our own little corner of the universe.
Yeah. So, it goes from kind of, stuff that actually happened to then 2016 ExoMars, first probe landing on Mars, mission to Mercury, mission to Jupiter system, July 20th in 2069, so now this is in our future. Armstrong Outpost at Shackleton Crater is formally founded as the first human settlement on the moon on the 100th anniversary of the first lunar landing. Okay. 2070, billionaire Victor Manswell, that's a great name.
That's
frustrated.
Man, that's a name.
Frustrated with the pace of official human space exploration, begins funding his own private spaceflight expedition. 2075, they launch from Earth en route to the Alpha Centauri system with 300 colonists on board. Communications with the vessel are lost soon after. So, yeah, it's
It's because everybody was put into stasis, and the corporations were just like, well, we need to keep these people on ice to then reload the colony planets because...
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about the Outer Worlds.
No, it's Spacer's Choice. Spacer's Choice. It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's Choice.
Spacer's Choice. Did I tell you I started playing that again?
Yeah, you did. And when so I'm going to say this now, in June, I think it's in June, it's either June or July, when the Xbox showcase is, it's an Xbox showcase and then an Outer Worlds 2 showcase afterwards. We're going to do a whole episode on the Outer Worlds. Because, yeah. The Outer Worlds is...
The Outer Worlds, or as I like to call it, Fallout New Vegas in space.
Yeah. I've said this before on the podcast. The Outer Worlds is Fallout in space. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's say it, A lot of people were
is.
saying, oh, Starfield is the not the BioWare. BioWare? No. Bethesda. Starfield is Fallout in space. No.
Oh, it isn't?
Starfield is Elder Scrolls in space.
Yeah.
Outer Worlds is Fallout in space.
Yeah, because quick tangent. Let's not forget Bethesda swooped in and just threw incompetence on one side of the table and just sheer business cunning, aka dickheadery. They now have Fallout.
Yeah.
But just remember, Fallout New Vegas is the conclusion to the Fallout trilogy, brackets, good. Okay, yeah. Listen, I enjoy Fallout 3 and 4 too, but...
New Vegas is great.
Yeah.
But, and I'll play New Vegas over Fallout 1 and 2. I'll also play fucking 3 and 4 over Fallout 1 and 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, those are fucking rough to get into, man.
Right?
They are of a time.
They're of an age.
And I'm not saying this like my kitchen is of a time, because you walk in there and it's just like, oh shit, I like Ike too. No. Fallout 1 and 2 are from a different, it might as well be just like a parallel universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Mass
Back
Effect.
to this.
Back to
Now-
the
Now we're getting into the meat of things.
superior spacefaring epic. Okay? I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna fucking say it. Number 1, Mass Effect. Number 2, Star Wars. Number 3, Charles in Charge, I think. I don't know. Does that take place on Earth? I'm not sure.
Three's Company?
Three's Company, maybe. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever.
Who knows? But
Some other sitcom from the 70s.
yeah. So like we're in the future now. So 2077 CE, and we haven't even fucking started the game, and we're probably only going to get to the lore of what happens before Mass Effect in this episode in this podcast. Which, oh my god, oh I love it, oh I love it so goddamn much.
Oops, all Mass Effect the prequel.
Oops, yeah, the pre-sequel yeah, not even fucking. It's just Jesus Christ. 2077 CE. Liara Sony is born, and Liara becomes one of your squad mates in Mass Effect 1, and is one of the characters that you can will follow you through 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Yeah, so she's born in 2077. She is an Asari. Once again, they have longer lifespans, obviously much longer than lifespans. So by the time you meet Liara in Mass Effect, in 2270 something, like she is a young adult in her species.
Like elves.
Yeah.
Yeah. They live a fuck ton longer. They
Pretty
just
much.
look at humans like dogs.
Exactly, and that's kind of what it is in a lot of these creatures or a lot of these alien races look at humans as dogs. They're only here for the short amount of time, which causes strife down the line, which we'll quickly get to.
Wait, you mean things are expanding across the cosmos and there's going to be problems?
What?
Oh no.
2103, the European Space Agency's Lowell City in Eos Chasma becomes the first permanent human settlement on Mars.
Damn.
Okay. So what one small tangent. This is just more of a sci-fi thing in general.
Oh.
What I love is that every futuristic story that involves spaceflight where humans eventually end up on other worlds and in other, galaxies and universes and everything starts with humans settling on the moon and then Mars and then everywhere else. Okay?
Yeah.
But every single thing, by the time you're playing this or watching this or interacting with this world, anything on Mars is now just like the backwater. This is trash. Like, this was the first thing we did and we left it, and anybody here now is just like, it's I hate to use, I don't want to use this term in I'm not even gonna say that word.
No, these are like the first suburbs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they're they were forgotten about, and everybody here now, it's just a backwater planet. They don't get any support, and everyone there is just kind of living in this, not hell, but it is just
this like under-supported colony.
Yeah, we figured out how to survive here, but we're not living here,
Yeah, like Matt Damon figured out how to grow potatoes and shit. Why can't you, Martians?
But like it's Mass Effect, it's Starfield, probably Outer Worlds, but we're in a different galaxy altogether.
I mean, I know in like all the Gundam stuff, it all takes place in our solar system, but really the only time like Mars is featured as a planet that I can think of right now, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, just don't be a dick about it, was in Iron-Blooded Orphans, which takes place in its own timeline. But yeah, Mars is kind of like a backwater. It's like a resource colony. Like, they grow food for export, all this stuff. And oh, by the way, child soldiers. That's the thing they got a lot of on there. And boy,
man,
if you want to know why they call him Kill 'Em All Tamino, you just go ahead and watch the first season of Iron Blooded Orphans, and man, rest in peace to a real one. Rest in peace, Biscuit. Miss you, buddy. But but yeah, no, like Mars always just kind of ends up. It's never like this thriving thing.
No.
Like, like the moon, like that's cool. Like that's people live there. People love living there. It's really more like, life here on Earth in a city or a small state. But on Mars, it's just like, what the fuck are you doing out there?
Yeah.
It's
humans figured out how to live outside of Earth and the moon.
Yeah.
And then that was just a stepping stone to being able to go really anywhere.
Yeah.
And then they went anywhere else but Mars.
And they're just like, nope, fuck this place.
Yeah. They're like, this place is just dust and fuck, Yeah,
and it's like, if you're there, then you're either running from something or you're there to do illegal shit.
Yeah.
Like, good people don't live on Mars.
But I just love that is just that's a sci-fi staple. Once humans can go anywhere in the galaxy, Mars is just, oh god,
right now we're just like, Mars, that's where we got to get to, but like in 1,000 years it's gonna be like, fuck that dump.
Yeah. So it's a thing that I've noticed and I love it.
Can I jump in here real quick and just say something?
Of course you can. Yeah.
Okay. So, like, science fiction, it's one of those things, it's not so much like a 50-50 split, it's always like two sides of a scale.
Yeah.
So, like, Star Trek is heavy on the science, kind of light on, like, it's got, some fun fictional elements, but it's not like, but Star Wars...
heavy on the fiction.
Space wizards and shit. Like, it's...
Yeah.
There's some science-y shit in there, but it's really just, like, a lot of just George Lucas just hand-waving, like, or some shit, whatever.
Yeah.
Until
he decides that the Force is now midichlorians in the blood, whatever.
Again, my man really should have farmed out the writing and directing, but what do I know? But yeah, and Mass Effect, from everything I am reading and seeing, is really more like Star Trek. Like, it is heavy on the science. And that's honestly really awesome.
And what I would say to that is you're not wrong, because there is a lot of science and there's a lot of, we get to a point, like the Asaris and everything, they have powers. We get to biotics, which they use, like the fucking space wizard powers and shit like that. But a lot of it is focused on, this is the technology that we built and how we interact with these other civilizations and this, the first contact and all this and all this and all this. But one of the things that makes, for me at least, that makes Mass Effect and just this kind of universe in general better, in my opinion, once again, in my opinion, is because it's a video game series, they can take the time to fucking flesh out 1 billion years of lore and technological advancements all around the galaxy to the point where by the time you start Mass Effect, like, there's 1 billion years of this technology that we went from here to here to here, and this science and this science and this science and this science and science. Yeah. So we have all this science behind us. Now we can get to the fiction. It's the fiction backed up by all the science, as opposed to, Star Trek. Yeah, there's a lot of science in it, and a lot of the stories are basic. We go to this planet and we've got the first contact protocol and this, and we're trying to interact with these new beings in this way. But it all kind of comes back to the science and how things work. And then once again in Star Wars, we're in space. Yeah, we're not on Earth, but space wizards and boom, 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 and boo, boo, all this stuff.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of hand waving to explain away like the sciencey shit.
Like,
it's just like
a lot of the stuff here in Mass Effect, and probably if you do digging into Star Wars and Star Trek, probably a lot of that too. But Star Wars is
Star Wars, like, there's a reason more like super sciencey people are into Star Trek than they are to Star Wars.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say, yeah, in your mind, like the whole, is it science or fiction more? I would probably put it more into science.
Yeah.
Because even though it is a fictional story and you're playing through a story, like, still a lot of it goes through that scientific lens.
Well, yeah, like, allow me to rephrase.
Yeah.
There's science fiction, and then there's, like, sci-fi fantasy. Star Wars is sci-fi fantasy because it's set in, like, this totally different...
Okay.
Like, this is science fiction.
Yes. This,
You know?
I guess,
like,
what is the term? Hard science fiction and, like, soft
hard
science
sci-fi.
fiction. Yeah, this is hard sci-fi, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah,
And if you disagree in the comments, please let me know. But, like, in my view of everything, like, this is hard sci-fi.
You let me know, and you let me see your Hugo Award or your advanced degree. And so help me God, if you break out a finance degree, I'm going to find you and hit you with a brick.
Oh, man. Okay, so.
You got an MBA. I've got a brick.
More bricks, asshole. That's my MBA.
God damn it. I gotta write that down.
Yeah. Okay, so 2025, there's a whole thing with the Yogg and the Shadow Broker. The Yogg becomes a Shadow Broker. That comes up again in Mass Effect 2. But 2129 CE, Alec Ryder is born. Alec Ryder is the father of the character that you play in Mass Effect Andromeda. Okay. So Alec Ryder is born on Earth. So we're 2029 CE. Humans are, they're out in Mars, and they're out, 8 years later, they're extracting helium-3 fuel from Saturn, but they're still in the Milky Way galaxy, and they're still just there, Stephen Hackett, 2034. Hackett is an admiral by the time you get to Mass Effect 1. 2139, other characters. 2043, this. 2047, trace amounts of Element 0 are discovered on Mars, and Element 0 is the thing that gives humans the biotic powers. Okay. 2146, Thane Krios is born. A lot of people thirst after Thane. So, yeah. So, 2148, humanity discovers a small cache of highly advanced Prothean technology hidden deep beneath the surface of Mars, which means the Protheans were on Mars, had all this technology, did all this stuff. So, humans quickly explore the science of Mass Effect fields, leading to the development of faster-than-light travel and beginning detailed... So now that they can travel faster than light, they can go around the Sol system, the Milky Way galaxy. And let's see, when do they... Let's say when they find the Mass Effect, the first actual relay. Yes, so... it was fucking right there. Following information from the translated data cache on Mars is 2149 CE. So, 120 some odd years in our future now?
Yeah.
Humans discover that Charon, Pluto's moon, is actually a massive piece of dormant Prothean technology, a mass relay. So the mass relay has been there the entire time, orbiting Pluto, which is a fucking planet. It's a goddamn fucking planet, okay? But it's encased in ice. And they send a team through the relay, which instantly transports them to another relay. So all of these relays, you go through one, you come out of another. You go through that one, you come out of another. And so they're all linked one to the other, but you're essentially going through that wormhole to go boom, boom, instantly.
Okay.
So this brings them to another relay 36 light years away.
Jesus.
And then it seems they, come back. But these mass relays are part of this giant network making travel across the galaxy possible, which in the past, even with faster than light travel, it's still going to take you light years and, maybe fewer, but insane amount of time to get things. But when you can go from one place to another instantaneously, they can explore and explore and explore. 2158, Miranda Lawson is born. In 2149, Systems Alliance charter is signed by the 18 largest nations on Earth, and that's kind of who you're working for in Mass Effect 1. Okay. So 2150, Miranda Lawson is born. You meet her in Mass Effect 2. All right.
Okay.
And then humans in 2151, in this new place that they found through this mass relay, start building a massive military base and fleet and everything to defend their territory. You know, it's humans. That's what they fucking do. Okay? And even though, as it says here, even though they've yet to encounter another intelligent spacefaring race, they're just like, it'll happen. Let's get ready. We're gonna kill you if you come here. You know. And
it is the way of humanity.
Yeah. So 2151, an accident at Singapore International Spaceport exposes hundreds of humans to dust form element 0. Roughly 30% of the children born in Singapore after the element 0 exposure suffer from cancerous growths. After his mother is exposed during the accident, Caden Alenko is born later that year with biotic potential. So, mind powers. And Caden Alenko is one of the characters that you meet in Mass Effect 1.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're coming to the point where a lot of these characters and all these people that you meet in the Mass Effect series proper are being born, and especially the humans, you know, they're coming into their own.
Yeah.
Planet Demeter. Eden Prime. Later that year, additional colonies are found on Eden Prime in 2152 CE. So Eden Prime is a very, very important place in the Mass Effect universe, in the Mass Effect mythos. 2154, Shepard is born. Shepard is the main character of the original Mass Effect trilogy. Male or female, whatever you make them to be, you create your Shepard once again. Like we said, your Shepard is your Shepard. There are a lot of other Shepards. This is the only one that's blah, blah, blah. Another accident involving exposure of humans to element 0. More people there. Saren Arturius is promoted to active service in the Turian military at the age of 16. Saren is the major antagonist of the first Mass Effect game. Okay, so this is 2155. Jeff Joker Moreau is born. Joker is played by Seth Green. In the games, Joker is your pilot of your ship in the Mass Effect trilogy, the original.
Okay.
Okay. Arcturus Station is formally inaugurated. It's what the Systems Alliance, the humans, that's kind of going to be their base, their headquarters. Mm-hmm. And 2156 is the first time that human children exposed to element 0 exhibit minor telekinetic abilities. So now humans are like, oh, wait, these kids have powers. We need to figure out what the fuck is happening here.
There is always some goddamn thing.
Yeah. 2056, Kai Lang is born. One of the apparently most hated characters in all of Mass Effect. He's in Mass Effect 3. He's somebody that you fight. Okay. 57, Jacob Taylor.
I want to fucking murder this guy just looking at him.
Kai Lang. Yeah.
Just.
Yeah. 21.
God, not even in the comics he looks good. He's just punchable all around.
2157. Jesus. Jacob Taylor is born. Jacob Taylor, you meet him as a squad member in Mass Effect 2. And David Anderson graduates the rank of second lieutenant. David Anderson is your lieutenant in Mass Effect 1.
There you go.
Okay. 2157 is the first time that humanity makes contact with another species. Another, sentient species. And they run into the Turians. The Turians observed human explorers attempting to activate a dormant mass relay, a practice forbidden by galactic law after the Rachni Wars, and attack. So
I'm assuming they just see us just wailing on this thing with a big wrench. Like, why won't you fucking work?
Pretty much.
Why?
Pretty much. Like humans at this point, they don't know that there's other beings out in the universe. They're finding these mass relays kind of under the assumption that we're the only ones here. We'll find other people, but we're the only ones here. When we found this one, it took us here and here and here and here. So here's this dormant mass relay. Let's see where this one leads us. Not knowing that due to the Rachni Wars centuries ago, there's this global or this galactic law forbidding the use of fucking with dormant mass relays. So the Turians can't interact with the humans can't interact with the Turians are just like, you're breaking the law. And they see this primitive race, to them, this primitive race fucking with this thing, being like, oh yeah, let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of it.
These monkeys with nuclear weapons.
Exactly.
Just like, huh.
So
Well, I guess we should do something about them.
This becomes, for the humans, they're fighting for months. This becomes the first contact war, and this is the humans' interaction and their introduction to all these other species in the universe. Is war. It's humans. Fuck, what else is it going to be?
But I feel like we can go back to the what fucking treaty here. Hold on. Oh yeah, the Systems Alliance Charter, signed by the 18 largest nations on Earth. I think we can go ahead and safely assume who's going to be in charge of 2149.
Yeah.
It ain't Bangladesh. Yeah. It's not necessarily Sweden. It's like, hi there, hello.
Sorry.
We've had problematic relationships with literally everything we've discovered.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, during this war, so you see, the Turians prepare for a full-scale war against humanity, which would obviously wipe out humanity, because,
Yeah.
we have mass relays and we have guns, but we're babies. Okay.
We might as well be showing them with rocks.
Exactly. That's kind of the idea. Is they're fighting back, but like, what the fuck? Fuck off. Let's get rid of them, and then we don't have to worry about them. This draws attention of the Citadel Council, which is once again the council of all the sentient beings, the different races in the galaxy. Council intervenes before hostilities escalate further, which then shows humanity. It's not just the Turians. Like, there's so much other shit out here. And they're the ones who bring the humans to the Citadel and are like, hey, guys, hey, this is, hi, welcome, whatever. Why would you kill us? What the fuck are you doing? This is what's going on. This is everything. This is the mass relays, blah, 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 blah. And kind of bring the humans
neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Could you not wail on the gas meter with a hammer? That's going to cause problems for us all.
Oh, man. Mass Effect Evolution occurs. This is one of the books. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, actually, I'm learning this right now. Mercenary Jack Harper becomes embroiled in a plot by Turian General Decius Arturius to use an ancient alien artifact, the Arca Monolith, to convert the Turian race into an army of invincible Meta-Turians. Convinces his brother Saren. Oh, wow. Saren's, like I said, the antagonist of Mass Effect 1. Of the dangers of the monolith, which is devolving the Turians into mindless beings under the monolith's control. To protect its people, Saren orders the destruction of the building holding the monolith, Temple Palaven, with Decius and the Meta-Turians inside. Later, having realized that humanity and the galaxy face dark times ahead, Harper founds the human survivalist organization Cerberus, publishes its manifesto, and assumes the identity of the Elusive Man.
Ooh.
The Elusive Man is a major character in Mass Effects 2 and 3.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually didn't know this background. This is cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, 2158. Humans start experimenting with new types and attempt to create their own cyber new types.
Exactly.
Killing thousands of children in the process. God, you
roughly 10% show indications. That means 90%.
Man, you want
don't.
This is some universal century lore, because this is where like the whole new type phenomenon is, and but man, God, now I can't remember. It's Gundam Narrative. It is about these 3 children who, when the first colonies dropped on Earth, one of them's like, stop, we gotta get out of here. Something bad's about to happen. And her 2 friends are just like, shit, I guess, okay, whatever. And they get their whole class to like fucking leave Sydney, and then a hunk of a colony lands on Sydney, and now Sydney's a big hole in the ground. It's now a new bay. But yeah, like the 3 kids, they're just like all right, well, one of them's a new type. We feel like the other two are either like they have latent new type abilities, or we can turn them into it. And one of them, she cons her way into being taken by like this corporation, like corporate family. She's like, no, I'm the new type. These two aren't. But if you take me, you got to promise to, let me come back and get them. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. One ends up getting drafted into the military because he does actually have some like new type abilities. And the girl, who actually was a new type, they try to make her a cyber new type. She goes insane, fucking kills a bunch of people.
Hi, Jack.
All while in the Gundam narrative. And
Hi, Jack.
the whole movie is just them trying to hunt down the narrative Gundam, because one girl's company wants to get this thing because it may hold the ability to transfer consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you'll live forever. The pilot, like the guy in the military, he wants to find it because he wants to find his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's all very touching and sad at the end, but it's just like, and they show you like what goes into making a new type, and it is so fucking brutal. It's just like, so I'm just seeing this and it's just like, aha.
Yeah.
We are learning that children can do this. Oh boy, I really want to watch a bunch of 8-year-olds go insane and smash their skulls into a wall.
Yeah. And that is one of the storylines of one of the characters that you meet in Mass Effect 3, I think, Jack. No, 2. You meet Jack in 2, and then you see her again in 3. All right. And she's like a biotic, and she's been tested upon for her entire life. All right, where were we?
All right.
2158. Yeah, because we were talking about Gundam and how they were
talking about
experimenting on children.
Horrific experiments upon children. Man, as soon as you said that, now I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm going to play the shit out of this. This might be my other night stream. No, it can't be that. Shit, I got to fucking...
you got to finish Phantom Liberty in Cyberpunk.
Okay, that one's going to take a lot longer, but you know what? So that's Monday, I don't know, Wednesday, or me getting hammered on a Friday night. That could be me doing Mass Effect, but one of the nights actually has to be CLAIR OBSCUR, so I'm not like, I can participate in a conversation with Dex. One of these times when he's on the goddamn podcast.
It is the best game of the year. Hands down.
Oh, all right, well, fucking hell.
Once again, May 1st. It's incredible.
Yes. Anyway, back to the year of our Lord 2158.
Ashley Williams is born. Ashley is one of your squad mates in Mass Effect 1. She is a space racist, and she sucks, but so does Caden, and only one of them can live. So, Saren, 2159. Saren, once again, antagonist of Mass Effect 1, becomes the youngest Turian to be inducted into the Spectres. The Spectres are... What is it?
Bad guys from the old James Bond movies?
No. They're what's like the kind of the secret military, or like the highest ranked military thing in the US or in the world. Like
Delta Force or like SEAL Team 6 or some shit.
Kinda, yeah. Like they're fucking James Bond.
It's like they exist, but what exactly they do, like the clandestine shit that they're doing. It's just like
like
you can pick up a newspaper and be like, that was probably them, but I can't prove that it was them, sort of thing. All right.
2059, Systems Alliance purchases Gagarin Station for a fraction of its construction cost and converts the facility into a biotic research and training facility.
Listen, if the commies built that thing, it already was a biotic research and training facility.
160, Red Sand is first used. Kasumi Goto is born. She is in 3, I want to say. She's like a DLC character of 2 or 3.
Oh.
I think probably 2. Yeah.
I love that I'm just like, what the fuck is Red Sand? And
Red Sand is a drug.
Drugs.
Yeah. Yep.
So literally the page it brings up, drugs.
Yeah,
like,
drugs.
Cool.
I think we've talked about Red Sand on this podcast, on our drugs episode last year.
Oh, man. We need to revisit that, man.
Yeah. So,
Or
2161.
best games to play while on drugs.
2161.
Is that? Yeah. Go
Yeah.
Ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. 2161.
Talizora Naraya is born. She is a Quarian. She can be part of your crew starting in Mass Effect 1. She will show up in the other games as well. And then Jack is born. She shows up in number 2. She is a biotic. She has biotic powers. And she was tested on as a kid. And she wears, like, the top that she wears is just a piece of paper around her boobs. She's bald.
Okay.
She's covered in tattoos. Jack is cool as shit. Okay?
His name is just Jack.
Her name.
Like, come on. Sorry. Her name.
Yeah, her
Just
name is Jack.
Jack.
Yeah. And I believe she's called Jack because she was just an experiment for her entire life. So the only name she was ever given was Jack.
No, Jack, also known as Subject Zero, and Jacqueline Knott. So I could see Jack coming from Jacqueline.
Yeah. So,
Jesus.
2162, survey
Crimes
team
include
working...
piracy, kidnapping, vandalism, and murder. It just really kind of... It takes some turns, man.
Jack is awesome.
I fucking love Jack.
So there is, it's in number 3, and this is like a minor plot thing. It's like for a side story. So you work with Jack, and she's part of your team in number 2, and then in number 3, at some point, you get a report of a biotic training facility, but not like a biotic training facility that Jack is a part of. So she's like, if we're going to train these kids with biotics, we're going to do it right, and I'm going to run it. So you get a report of this training facility being overrun by the antagonists of Mass Effect 3. And it's like, oh, yeah, we can go and save them. But if you wait too long in the game to go there to do it, it has been overrun, and Jack has been corrupted, and you have to kill her.
Oh, no.
But if you go there, early enough, and you can save it, then she doesn't join your crew or anything. But then you can be like, "Oh, Jack, hey," and you kind of get some, like a bit of a, "Hey, you're good," awesome. Here's some background. Yeah. You've grown because in Mass Effect 2, when you see her, she is, like you said, she murders, she's pirate, she does this, and then in 3, she's helping other biotic kids to not do what she did. So it's just a great character moment.
Fuck yeah.
2162, a survey team working for Batarian Entrepreneur, and the Batarians are just assholes. That's kind of their whole thing in the Mass Effect series. There's a Mass Effect 1 DLC that deals with the Batarians, and they're all of them are just dicks. They just hate humans, and they're just like assholes. But discovers a mysterious artifact orbiting an unnamed planet near the Perseus Veil. Once again, the Perseus Veil is kind of the thing that blocks our galaxy from the unknown galaxy where the Geth are. And because the Geth are synthetic beings, they don't need, an atmosphere, shit like that.
Yeah.
Series begins illegal AI research, which is a side story, a side mission in 1 or 2, I think 2. Experimental L1 biotic implants are used in it. So now humans know about biotics, and they know about Element 0. So now they're trying to make implants that give those powers to anybody.
Oof.
Because why not? It's probably fine.
Why not?
Yeah. Series of starship drive failures are orchestrated over populated areas on human colony worlds, causing a widespread exposures to Element 0. This results in a second generation of humans born with biotic potential.
Yeah.
Okay. Leviathan of Dis, a genetically engineered living starship believed to be nearly 1 billion years old, is discovered by a Batarian survey team on the planet Jartar. The Leviathan disappears under dubious circumstances after a Batarian dreadnought passes through the Dis system. And this is in Mass Effect 3, you find this Leviathan. I think it's a side mission in 3, I want to say. But 2163, Alec Ryder's twin children are born. Those twin children are the characters, you choose one or the other. That's the character that you play as in Mass Effect Andromeda. Okay, so 2163, the main character of Mass Effect Andromeda is born. We haven't even started Mass Effect. Okay.
Jesus.
2165, Mass Effect Revelation, Terrestrial Antimanners. Jack, still a young child, is abducted by Cerberus agents on Eden Prime. They fake her death and take her to the Titan facility on Pragia as part of a project intended to improve biotic potential in humans. So she's kidnapped as a kid and just
Jesus.
she's experimented on for her entire life until you find her.
God.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Nalenko accidentally kills somebody. Oh, I didn't realize that. He's cooler than I thought he was. Shepard receives secondary exposure to Element 0. Permanent biotic inclination manifests. This is essentially just a thing that was put in there so that when you create your Shepard, you have different paths onto what your Shepard is. One of those is biotics based, being able to use these powers. You don't have to do it. So like for the most part, my Shepard in number 1, I was just a soldier because I just wanted to use guns and not really focus on the biotic stuff, so I didn't realize it. So like this is just essentially like if you want to play a Shepard that's biotic and has these powers, it happened to them. Because of this in 21, we don't have to explain why they've got powers. They weren't born that way, so that if you don't use them, yeah, they were exposed, but they don't have all the, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, biotic training for human South Stores, 2170. 2171. Batarians hate humans. Draw their home system, become a rogue state. Biotic is Shepard is officially detected as a biotic and fitted with L3 implants. So the L2s were too dangerous. So they made the L3s.
Like the different
Cerberus
generation.
assassinates Pope Clement the 16th on Earth via rosary beads coated with toxic substances. And his successor, Pope Leo, espouses beliefs more in line with Cerberus's ideals. Okay, so Cerberus is very humanity and human-based, trying to change the minds of humans. Yeah.
Okay.
2172, Shepard enlists in the military. Okay. Kai Lang enlists in the military the same year. The next year, Cade Nalenko enlists. The year after that, Ashley Williams enlists. We've got all this stuff here. 2176, 2177. Where is... Oh. 2176. Kai Lang is awarded the N7 designation by the Alliance's Interplanetary Combatives Academy, but later that year is dishonorably discharged and imprisoned for first-degree murder, because, of course, he is. John Grissom Academy, I believe, is the academy that Jack takes over in 3 as, like, the teacher, I want to say. I could be wrong there. So, yeah. James Vega enlists in the Alliance military. James Vega is a character that you can recruit to your team in Mass Effect 3. Voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. Let's see, cool. Skylian Blitz is a big thing, and I believe a Shepard is part of it. And that's kind of the Skylian Blitz in this battle with the Batarians is one of the choices that you make as your background for Shepard. It's like, were you born on Earth or were you born in space or blah, blah, blah. Did you know your parents? Were you an orphan? In the Skylian Blitz, what did you do? And blah, 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 all this stuff. So that is one of the big storylines and like points of Shepard's life, if that makes sense. Yeah, 2182. Admiral Kahoku of the Systems Alliance begins investigating suspected Cerberus activities. And 2183, humans and Turians collaborate on an engineering project co-sponsored by the Council. So once again, the first contact war is between humans and Turians. And now, 2183, they're collaborating together, like kind of showing, hey, humans can work with other creatures or other beings. I say creatures, that sounds bad. Other beings and other races in the universe. You know, they're not just going to kill everything if they can. Okay. I accidentally kicked my lights here. Yeah. But the Turns collaborate on an engineering project co-sponsored by the Citadel Council, an experimental frigate with a prototype stealth system, the SSV Normandy. David Anderson is given command of the ship, and Commander Shepard is assigned as executive officer. So the Normandy is your ship in Mass Effect 1. And the events of Mass Effect, He Who Laughs Best, Joker is assigned as the pilot of the SSV Normandy. Joker has a degenerative disease that fucks with his bones.
Ooh.
It's like he can't fight, he could barely walk, you know, but
he is
He's
pilot.
pilot, and he's the best pilot in the galaxy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
2183 CE, the Eden Prime War. So remember, Eden Prime is the first human colony. One of the first human colonies. Attacked by the Geth. Once again, if you see the Geth, that means shit's going wrong. Something's happening because the Geth typically stay to themselves outside of the Perseus Veil.
Mm-hmm.
And this is as Shepard, you show up to Eden Prime after it's been attacked. And that's where Mass Effect 1 starts. And that is...
I think you got enough place to leave it here.
That's a good place to leave it. I'm going to pull up something here. So we are going to watch the Mass Effect 1 intro. So when you first start the game, after you make your Shepard, obviously, this is what you watch. I need you to pay attention, Mike.
What about Shepard? He grew up in the colonies.
He knows how tough life can be out there. His parents were killed when slavers attacked Mindwar.
He saw his whole unit die on a cruise. He could have some serious emotional scars.
Every soldier has scars. Shepard's a survivor.
Is that the kind of person we want protecting the galaxy?
That's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy.
I'll make the call.
Top Gun.
Hell yeah.
The Arcturus Prime relays in range. Initiating transmission sequence.
Commander.
We are connected. Calculating transit mass and destination.
So I believe this
The relay is
video,
hot, acquiring approach vector.
this is a Joker that you hear.
All
South
stations
Green.
secure for transit.
Hell yeah.
And this is just like the basic male Shepard.
Board is green. Approach run has begun. Hitting the relay in 3, 2, 1.
Damn.
So you make your Shepard, you make these choices and everything, and that's the fucking opening of the game, is a goddamn Top Gun crawl. And the dialogue that you heard there, like, oh, what about Shepard? His parents were killed here. He did this. He did this. Those are the choices that you make for your background.
Oh.
And it's so like I said, when I first decided, like when I first rented it, I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. You know, I like Star Wars. I'll play it. I'll try it out. That intro video, after I made my character, I was like, no, this is my shit. This is 1000% my shit. So what we're gonna watch now, really quick. This is only 1 minute and 43. So we have Mass Effects 1, 2, and 3. We have Andromeda, which, as we saw, the main characters of Andromeda were born before anybody else in Mass Effect, and like the events in Mass Effect. Beep. Okay. So at the end of Mass Effect 2, a corporation, actually at the end of Mass Effect 1, a corporation, I don't remember exactly who it is because I don't think it's the Elusive Man, but the Andromeda Initiative decides, okay, the Milky Way galaxy is fucked. If humanity's going to survive, we have to go to a different galaxy. And they start scoping out the Andromeda galaxy, which is light years, hundreds and hundreds of light years away, and come up with this plan to send 10,000 plus or even more of different races to the Andromeda galaxy to essentially make that humanity and Quarian and Turian and everybody's new home, because the Milky Way galaxy is not long for this world. Okay, they've seen what these beings do, and we're not going to survive. So they do all this recon work, and they find these 7 or 8 golden worlds in Andromeda that can sustain life, and send out these massive ships, these massive arcs, to go to the Andromeda galaxy, but they can't use mass relays because they don't have any, so everybody's put into suspended animation for 600 plus years until they wake up in Andromeda. By the time they get there, all this shit has happened. So by the time they get to Andromeda and the Andromeda galaxy, it is overrun by this thing called the Scourge. It's fucking up everything. All of the golden worlds are a bust. There are beings there that they hadn't known about that are killing or antagonistic towards humans. There are other beings called the Angara, who we talked about. They are in the Andromeda galaxy, and they're eventually friendly, but there's also the Ket, who are bastards, all this stuff. There's the remnants. It's a whole thing with Andromeda. The big thing you have to remember, though, is that in the Andromeda galaxy, you see the Angara for the first time. Okay?
Okay.
So, what I'm going to do here, we're going to switch over. I'm going to put this on a loop. This is the official teaser trailer for the next Mass Effect. This was put out 4 years ago. So every November 7th is N7 Day. And N7 is the military group that Shepard is part of. And it's like a big, it's one of the things. So every November 7th is N7 Day. And BioWare puts something out. Whether it's just a statement or whatever. But 4 years ago, they put out this teaser trailer for the next Mass Effect. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to hit play on this. It's going to play. It might loop. I'm going to go put a pizza in the oven. I'll be right back.
You do that.
Okay?
All right,
you watch
I'll be
this.
here.
You watch this, Mike, and then talk about it.
All right.
Humanity now stands as partners in the galaxy.
haven't watched this thing probably in 2 or 3 years, to be completely honest with you. So I'm going to turn it down as I kind of watch over this. But, so, the character that you kind of see the side face of at the end there, a lot of people think, and it's more than likely it is Liara T'Soni from the original Mass Effect trilogy. Okay?
Okay.
And she's looking over this world with this ship, and there are different beings walking around this ship. And one of those beings looks like an Angara from Mass Effect Andromeda. Which, once again, that takes place 600 years later, which, as we've seen, you know, the Asaris can live that long, obviously, but how is Liara and how are these people together, you know? So we don't know what the fuck this new game's going to be about.
Yeah.
We don't know when it's going to take place. So here we go. So she's finding the N7 armor, the N7 helmet piece. This is apparently Liara from Mass Effect 1 searching for, and if she's looking for this N7 piece, she is searching for Shepard, you'd have to think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, I don't think it's in this trailer, but when this trailer came out, they also released a poster for the next Mass Effect, and in there is the rumored, it looks like an Angara. So, yeah. But no, I did an episode of Neon Gaming Dimension a couple months ago now, where the topic was kind of like, how would you kind of reintroduce gaming series, you know, that may have been dormant, or like what a sequel you would do. And my pitch was the next Mass Effect, and it's essentially, you know, in Andromeda they build they build a mass relay that goes back to here, and it's 600 years later, so Liara can be here, and there can be some Krogan and all this stuff, and that would explain how Liara is there with an Angara, because now there's a mass relay between the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy, if that's possible, all that stuff. But yeah, so this is the next Mass Effect, somehow takes stuff from the original trilogy and the Andromeda game. We should have more Andromeda. There should have been DLC, but you know, you fuckers hated it too much.
Oh. Yeah, that one.
Mass Effect Andromeda had, at the end of it, when you beat the game and like everything is good and stuff, all this shit, there are just a bunch of different like audio files, and you talk to people, and it's like once again, Andromeda, the whole point is that these arcs came from the Milky Way to repopulate Andromeda and make this everyone's new home. But you find out once you become awake that a few of these arcs never made it to Andromeda, and they've lost contact. And then at the end of Andromeda, there's like a report of, oh my god, we just got contact from the Quarian arc that we thought was completely gone. And you're like, oh fuck yeah, that's the next game or DLC. And then nah.
Yeah. I mean, what could have been?
What could have been. But Mike, I see you yawning.
Yeah, it is about 10 o'clock.
It's about 10 o'clock here, and I've been talking about Mass Effect, and not even talking about the games, really, just the lore and the history, and the history of the goddamn universe. And thank you so much for letting me be a lore whore. Because
you're welcome. I am. So,
Mass Effect.
I know it's available. I know I can get it Steam, because, you know, we're a family on Steam. But I'm just like, I swear I either had it or it was available someplace else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Since I'm showing up for Game Pass Ultimate.
Oh, yeah, it's on EA Play.
Yep. So, guess what's currently 39% installed?
On your PC or Xbox?
PC.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so it's fucking... I am
And
pretty fucking hyped about this.
yeah, we won't. I mean, we won't jump into that as much, but the Legendary Edition is the best way to play Mass Effect 1, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things they did, is just a little aside, is, like I said, when you make your Shepard, and then it goes through the rest of the games. Okay? Mm-hmm. But your Shepard has a unique code for it. Okay? And they came out, when the Legendary Edition came out, and they said, hey, if you have your save file, like if you have Mass Effect 3, you can go to your Shepard and you can find that code, like you can see it on the character creation, and then put that into the Legendary Edition, and you can recreate the Shepard that you made in that original trilogy.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Because, personally, my Shepard in the original trilogy, I don't know why, and I didn't realize this as I was making him, but I was like halfway through the game, and I was like, my Shepard looks like the cool substitute teacher that shows up on a sitcom who just like teaches all the kids really cool life lessons before moving on.
Mr. You know? Bergstrom in The Simpsons.
Yeah, like that was my Shepard. I don't know how.
Dustin Hoffman and all.
Yeah. So I installed Mass Effect 3. You know, my saves were in the cloud. Loaded it up. Saw my Shepard. And I was like, that's him. That's mine. Took the code. Put it into the Legendary Edition.
Yeah.
It was 90% right.
Oh.
But the skin tone was off. But not in like it's like a slider, I can do it. The skin tone was off in a way that it looked like my Shepard was in blackface.
Oh, God.
And it was offensive. And I was just like, you know what? Never mind. Erase everything. I'm just going to do it over. I'm going to try again because I can't fix this. You look like a piece of shit. You look racist. Like
taking Al Jolson into intergalactic space.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'll just remake it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I made my Shepard, and then that was my Shepard throughout that, and then yeah. If I can get a screenshot, that might be the thumbnail for this episode. Is my Shepard, not the racist one, but my Shepard from the Legendary Edition, and maybe my Ryder from Andromeda, because yeah, I made a Ryder and a Sarah Ryder, so.
Hell yeah.
Mike,
I'm excited to get into this.
Mike, let's wrap this up. What are you going to be streaming this week or maybe next week? What's the plan?
I probably going to be some like follower only streams just to get some stuff kind of worked out this week.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I got my big ass soundboard of stuff to annoy you people with.
We have a minute.
And I've got plenty.
So I have to go switch my pizza.
Oh shit. Yeah, so probably next week, twitch.tv/nerdy for beginners, nerdy for beginners across all platforms except for Blue Sky, where it is nfbofficial.bluesky.social. What have you.
Bitch, I
get
told
that over to the Storymoders.
You can be nfbofficial.storymoders. You need to, okay?
I know.
You can.
I'm going to, all right?
Yeah.
I got some dumb fucking merch ideas, too, so.
We need more. Storymoders.com. Get all your Storymoders merch. Mm-hmm. Not this shirt, because it's not here. And you can't get this pop socket, because I made it on the pop.
No.
Yeah, but
see what unhinged bullshit I come up with. And Robert, let's fly.
Anything. Unless it's my Shepard from taking it from the old one to the new one, and then we're not doing that.
No, we're not putting Al Jolson on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. All right.
So.
Oh, Ira's dreaming.
Ira, I love you. Mike, I love you.
Love you too, buddy.
Storymoders forever. CLAIR OBSCUR, Expedition 33. Go play it. Go buy it. Go support that dev team.
Working on it. All right, folks. Until
next
week, we love you.
Bye.